What is up, everybody? JP MMA here, back with another video. This is going to be the matchups to make, in my opinion, after UFC 313. We're going to be going through the whole card, taking the winners and some of the losers, and putting them next to who I want to see them fight next. Starting with the main event, Pereira versus Ankalaev. It was a close one. I think Pereira versus Ankalaev rematch is the fight to make next. I was considering putting Yuri Prohaska versus Ankalaev in there, but I think this was too close of a fight, and Pereira was too good of a champion. He already had 3 defenses under his belt. I think he deserves this rematch, and I would assume that that's what Dana would want, for them to rematch and Pereira to get that belt back. So that's the fight to make. On the other hand, I do kind of want to see that Yuri Ankalaev fight, which is a fresh matchup that they've never fought before. So that would be really cool to see. But Yuri only has 1 win under his belt. He's on a 1-fight win streak, so I'd like to see this rematch between Pereira and Ankalaev. So for the rest of the card, the co-main, you can see there, Justin Gaethje. There's so many guys that you can match him up against right now. The guy I'm putting against is Charles Oliveira. For some reason, Charles is fighting once a year now, all of a sudden. I don't know why, but it's a little annoying. So who knows when he's actually going to come back and wants to fight. Other options I was considering was maybe Ilya. I liked the Dan Hooker fight as well. Dan was talking about a title shot versus Islam. I don't like that. So we can put him into a number 1 contenders fight, and the winner of that could be looking at a title shot. And Gaethje did very well, although he got finished in the first round. He hurt Charles bad in the first round as well. Everybody hurts Charles in the first, but Gaethje did very well versus Oliveira in their first fight, and I would love to see this rematch. I think it's a good step up for Gaethje, considering he just won't go away at this point. For Rafael Fiziev, I want to see him versus the winner of Yoel Alvarez versus Benoit Saint Denis. That fight should be really, really good. 2 guys in the 15 or the 10 to 20 range in the division. Yoel Alvarez was ranked for like a week, a month ago. He hasn't gotten into the rankings since. Benoit, I don't even know how he's still ranked, to be honest. He's one of my favorite fighters, but even I'm going to say it. His best win is Matt Frevola, even though he did well versus Poirier in the first round. So the winner of that matchup, I would want to see Fiziev fight. I think it's probably going to be Yoel Alvarez, and in that case, that would be a really cool striking matchup between Fiziev. A little bit of the shorter, more muscle, powerful guy versus Alvarez. A little bit lankier for the division, but still very, very good striking and grappling. And both guys can get the finish in that fight, so that's a really cool fight I would want to see. I don't really want to see Fiziev get another step up in competition, although 2-1 Gaethje loss isn't bad on short notice at all. But yeah, that's the fight I would want to see Fiziev fight next. For Jalen Turner, he said he was retiring. Wish him luck. A little bit surprised, but 14-9 record is concerning, to be honest. So not that surprising the more that you think about it and how he's quit a little bit in his past fights. For Bahamondes, there's a ton of guys that you could potentially match him up with next, and I'm really interested to see who they're going to actually put him up against. I would go with Fares Ziam. Fares Ziam's on a 5-fight win streak. Just knocked out Matt Frevola with a beautiful knee in the clinch, and then his last fight he beat Mike Davis, who's no joke either. I picked Mike Davis to win that fight, and Ziam was caught in a calf slicer, and his knee was literally bending the other way. I don't know how he survived, and he managed to pull that one out by decision. So he's on a 5-fight win streak in the best division in the UFC. I think kind of a prospect versus prospect fight I would really love to see here. I'm not really ready to give Bahamondes a big step up. Like I mentioned last video, we didn't really get to see striking versus a high level guy like we thought we would see in that fight versus Turner. So I don't really want to give him a top 10 guy yet, and I think Ziam deserves somebody in the rankings. Lemos, give her Tatiana Suarez. She just came off a loss to Zhang Weili. Lemos also got dominated by Zhang Weili in her title fight. Lemos is coming off a win. Tatiana Suarez is a good step up in competition. Honestly, I don't really know. I don't really care, to be honest. Same with Lucindo. We're going to put her versus Angela Hill. Angela Hill fights anybody. It's a little bit of a step down, so that is who I'm going for those two. Bobby King Green, I'm going to suggest that he retires. He's been knocked out cold versus Jalen Turner. He's been knocked out cold versus Mauricio Rufy, and he's been submitted out cold versus Patty. I think it's time to hang up the gloves, Bobby. I mean, what else do we gain from fighting now? I mean, how many times has he taken so much damage in his last few fights? I mean, what's the point of even fighting anymore? He's obviously not contending for the belt, and now he's losing to worse and worse opponents, so I would suggest him to retire. Mauricio Rufy, who got that nasty spinning heel kick KO over Bobby Green, I want to see him fight Nasrat Haqparast. I know a lot of people want to match him up versus a ranked guy, and even maybe a top 10 guy like Beneil Dariush or something like that. I mean, I don't want to see him versus a grappler. I think we could keep giving him strikers at this point until, he's got to prove that he is a good grappler. But at this point, Nasrat Haqparast is also on a win streak in this lightweight division, although that Jared Gordon fight was probably a robbery, and even the Ribovics fight could have been a robbery too. Those were both very close fights. Nasrat is a fun fighter. He's fought a lot of good fighters in this division. His last fight with Ribovics, a ton of significant strikes over the course of the 3 rounds. This has banger written all over it, and it's not really a popular opinion that I see a lot of people giving Mauricio Rufy for his next matchup. I hear some, Grant Dawson's or Dariush's or somebody in the 10 to 15 range. I think one more guy, unranked, to prove that Rufy really is that good, because the more people fight King Green, maybe the less impressive it seems. So that's a certified banger. Next fighter, Joshua Van. I want to see him versus Bruno Silva. They had this matchup made for a previous card. It got canceled. I think Saruya might have stepped in for Bruno Silva. Either way, Joshua Van got the job done. I don't know how he's not in the rankings. Are you kidding me? MMA media, what are we doing? Joshua Van is one of the best flyweights in the world, one of the best flyweight strikers in the world. He's not even ranked. I mean, oh my gosh. So I want to see him versus Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva is a fun flyweight. They're all pretty fun. He's got a high finish rate. That should be a really fun fight. And it should be a ranked fight, but Joshua Van should already have a ranking next to his name. But either way, he's going to beat Bruno Silva, and hopefully he gets a big step up after that. Ray Saruya, I mean, if Dana doesn't cut him, which I want him to be cut immediately, and he can go fight in Brave FC or PFL, he can take on Clayton Carpenter. I don't know. Carpenter fought Ulan Bekov on the UFC 311. He held his own, went to a decision, had some moments, but as the more the fight went on, it looked less and less promising for Carpenter. Either way, he would probably beat Ray Saruya. I mean, he was undefeated. He showed some good grappling in his debut, but I know Joshua Van is a really good fighter, so maybe that performance wasn't as bad as we think, or I think, but I mean, I don't like Ray Saruya one bit, as you can tell. The next fight in the middleweight division, we got Bruno Pereira coming off of a second round triangle submission over Armen Petrosyan. Was getting outstruck a little bit in that fight, ended up taking it to the ground and pulling the sub off, so good for him. He's 4-2 in the UFC, 100% finish rate. I want to give him Kevin Holland. I don't know if he's quite there to get a ranked opponent next, but I think Kevin Holland is right outside the rankings, as he usually is, even though he's lost a few. This is still going to be a good test. If he can beat Kevin Holland, I think it's going to be a great striking match. There probably won't be any takedowns, and there should be a finish in this fight, like with most Bruno Pereira fights. Next fighter, we got Armen Petrosyan. he just lost to Bruno Pereira, as I just mentioned. I want to see him fight Cesar Almeida. He's 9-5 right now. Armen Petrosyan is. I don't even know if he could get cut, to be honest, after this fight. I don't know where he is in his contract, but Cesar Almeida is also a pure striker in this middleweight division, with not a ton of fights in the UFC. Just like Armen Petrosyan, this will be a very similar stylistic matchup, and I'd be very interested to see who wins this in a little bit of the mid tier of the middleweight division. Next up, we got Carlos Leal. He just got a first round knockout standing TKO over Alex Morono. Alex Morono looked terrible. Carlos Leal looks good. Beat Renat Fakhretdinov in his debut, got robbed, but it seemed like he won. So we're going to give him Santiago Ponzinibbio, a decent jump up. Ponzinibbio has been in the 15 to 35 range of this welterweight division for a long time. So he's definitely a known name in the division. Even though he's not ranked currently, he's still up there. He got a KO in his last fight. And I think this will be another good test and a jump up in competition for Leal. And if he wins this and he gets the finish, we could be looking at a nice prospect on our hands, because he's pretty young too for how he looks. Like I mentioned before, Alex Morono, I mean, you got to cut the guy. Unfortunately, he's just not UFC level at this rate. Myron Santos, did he win? Did he lose? I don't know. The judges thought he won, or at least two of them. I thought he lost live, but I'd have to rewatch that and look at the damage he landed striking in rounds 2 and 3. Either way, a really fun fight, like always, with Nate Landwehr and his opponents. Yeah, I want to give him Nate the Train. I feel like that's the good range of ranking in the featherweight division that Myron Santos is at right now. Francis Marshall isn't a terrible fighter. He's not a terrible prospect by any means, and we saw him basically beat Santos. So I don't want to give Myron Santos too much of a jump up after this, because it was such a close fight. But I think Landwehr and Santos will be a very entertaining fight and should stay on the feet pretty much the whole time. For Francis Marshall, I want to give him Danny Silva. Danny Silva is a little bit newer guy into the UFC. Got a Contender Series win last year. He had an absolute war on the Contender Series. He was 200 to 200 significant strikes in 3 rounds. Absolutely absurd. No defense whatsoever. He's 1 or 2-0 in the UFC. He just got a win, I think a week or two ago. So they're on similar time schedules. And like I said, I don't want to give Francis Marshall a bump down in competition really, but this should be a good fight in the mid-bottom tier of this featherweight division. To end it off, Ozzy Diaz and DeJordan Santos, I think I have the same recommendation for them. They should go to the gym, and they're going to pick up their 20-ounce gloves, and they're just going to spar the local heavyweights that they got at the gym. As you can see, I have Connor pictured below. Connor probably sparring with the few bantamweights at his gym, not really putting in that much work. Ozzy Diaz and DeJordan Santos maybe have to boost their confidence a little bit, spar some lower level guys, and just hammer down the technique. I don't even know who I wanted to give them at this point. They both looked pretty mid in that fight, so yeah, I think they should keep on sparring, hitting the heavy bag, and let Dana know the next time they want to fight, and put on an actual performance. It was a great fight and very entertaining, but kind of similar to Alex Morono, who's just sloppy, no defense, not great cardio. So I think they're gonna have to hit the bag a little bit and get back to Dana. So that'll be it, guys, for this video. Matchups to make after UFC 313. Subscribe. Please like the video if you enjoyed, and I'll have another video up soon about the Fighting Nerds today or tomorrow.